Hi and welcome for 2016. This time I've got my entire collection all in one place, and you're going to see the top end pieces in my collection. Um, I've actually got videos of every single watch on my channel. So to start off, this is the Speedmaster Sapphire sandwich, man on the moon, basically. Take it off the pillow, and you'll be able to see this one quite clearly this time. It's got a sapphire crystal on the front and a sapphire display back, and that's how it gets its moniker. And you can see right now the running seconds at the 9 o'clock sub register is running, and I can start the chronograph and let it record the time elapsed, and I can stop it and I can reset it. So just a standard chronograph functionality, and it's manual wind. I just gave it a few turns this morning. This is not the winding action, of course. I'm just winding the reverse way, but when you wind forwards, that's when you're winding. And now I just reached the max tension, so I can't wind anymore. So that's the Speedy. So let's put the back on its pillow. So what's great about the Speedmasters are, one thing, the bracelet that comes with it is pretty alright, I suppose, but it's one of those watches that always looks better on some kind of strap, I suppose. You can try the NATO straps. There's the one that's blue and gray, and one of the James Bond type ones, but I've got a custom handmade strap that's been repurposed from military surplus Mauser pouches, which is an interesting touch. And so you can see it has already got a fair bit of well, it's like a patina usage, but the strap itself is brand new, and the stitching is ivory white, and this is a pre-V buckle that's in the style of the Panerai buckle. This is actually made by a chap who's very much into Panerais, and that's why it comes with the Panerai buckle. But I thought it looks nice on the Speedmaster, so that's going back in the box. Then this one is new to the collection, as in it's quite recent, and this was added in November last year. So if you check on my channel, you'll see that I've had the GMT2C in the collection before, but the previous one I had was two-tone, yellow gold, and stainless steel. So being a bicolor watch, the center links were yellow, and there's again a detailed video on the channel. So it's practically identical to that watch, in the sense it's got the same oyster clasp. I think the movement on this watch includes some upgrades, because Rolex always makes improvements to their movements over time, but they may not advertise them. So there we go. One thing on this one is it's because it's new, everything is highly polished, and so the polish links, the sides, it's a very, well, yeah, it's a very in your face type watch because everything is glistening so much. But what I do like the most is the ceramic bezel, and the way the knurling of the edges, it's just spot on. And the tension on this is just brilliant. So a few more views of that. So that's going back in the box. And you'll see the AP Royal Oak. And this is the 15300 ST in 39 millimeters. So this model is discontinued. The newer watch is larger, but has the same caliber movement. But it may be a personal preference, I suppose. But there are a lot of collectors who actually feel this was one of the special formats of the non-jumbo Royal Oak. So for one thing, it's 39. It sits better on the wrist. If you look, you'll see it has the applied AP at 12 o'clock. Of course, the new watch also has an applied AP logo, but the applied AP comes a little bit under the center pivot point, so it's closer to the 6 o'clock area, because the 12 o'clock position is replaced with double vertical indices to denote 12 on the newer piece, at least. And this is now, what is it now? Yeah, 5 years old, I would believe. Yeah, it's 5 years old. It's hard to imagine because time has passed. To me, it doesn't feel like this watch is that old. And I've finished the 3-year warranty, of course, obviously. And it was just last December. I just collected it back from service in Singapore. Let me try and get a close up of the movement. Look at display back this time. Because now we got some good lighting going on. I just need to get the focus correct. Let's try and zoom in a bit more. There we go. And so now what you're looking at is the it's the 22 karat rotor, which is engraved with the AP details and stuff. close up to the watch itself. So this is one of my all-time favorite watches, and it's because it's pretty discreet in the sense compared to the GMT. It's all brushed, but what's not brushed, it's the edges, so it's all beveled basically. It's the same approach to how they bevel the edges of the component parts, and even these tiny inner links, the front and back are beveled for each little piece. So the reflections this watch, the way light reflects off this, reflects mainly off these side beveling. It's not so much off the brush surface. Sorry, focus is jumping around. There we go. Let's keep it there. You're just capturing the AP logo there a bit there. And yeah, so that's the AP Royal Oak. This gets easily most wrist time, along with my annual calendar. So let's take a step back. Apologies on the camera. There we go. I can get this back in the watch box. Hey. Okay. And the other watch is my annual calendar, which I'm actually wearing right now. And of all my pieces, this quite easily is a watch that I would say is that's my favorite piece in the whole collection. So if you look at the way the light plays off the dial, first of all, right now it's like that, but at certain angles you will find the reflection goes over the various applied markers, and depending on the lighting, the way the light falls on the dial, it has a completely different personality. Like this is one that I see sometimes they'll go all very dark, and it's really a beautiful dial. The way it doesn't feel cluttered to me. You have the indices, you have the Arabic numerals, the dates in the perfect spot, the day of the week, the month, and even the power reserve, and the moon phase. It's just executed beautifully. If I had to go and buy another annual calendar from the Patek range, I'd probably still go back for the 5146, even though there are different configurations where you do not get the analog hands, but instead the day of the week and the month are inside apertures. The whole aperture concept, it just feels it's not as appealing to me. I like having basically a hand on the dial that sweeps around, or even ticks as this is transitions day by day. But I just like having the indication by an arrow by hand on the dial, compared to an aperture which it somewhat feels digital, and that's how some brands, they do realize the digital feel. Like Lange has their big date, and it's basically the same concept, but it can be given a digital feel. And of course, the case profile. That's another thing about this watch. It's got that perfect kind of height. It's not too thick. It's not too thin. The lugs are gorgeous. It sits on the wrist well, very comfortable. From this side, or even from this side, this is the view that as the person wearing the watch, this is what I see the most. I would mostly see this angle, this kind of angle on my wrist. And this watch actually flies quite a bit under the radar. Nobody really notices it, which is another great thing. To them, it's just another gold watch, or what appears to be a gold watch on the wrist kind of thing. So it doesn't attract any unwanted attention. And I've kept it on the original strap. I haven't bothered changing the strap, but what I have done is I've changed the spring bars, and there's a video on the channel from 2014 when I had the spring bars changed. And so now that we've covered the annual calendar, I'll put it back on my wrist. Right. I want to show you some of the boxes that I use to store my watches. So the watch box that you see right in front is a 6-piece watch box by a company called Hillwood in London. This is not the most expensive kind of watch box. I don't think it's the cheapest either, because you get kinds on eBay with plastic fittings and bits like that. Whereas here, it's got a wooden construction, but the outside is veneer. So this is the Burl wood finish. So it's a Burl wood veneer that's been glued to the inner wooden surface. So you can get cases that are 100% wood itself, from like Bourbon Zorweg, or like the Orbiter Sienna Teak watchwinder box that I have, which is 100% in teak wood. But for its purpose, so if you look very carefully, where you then can see the seam of where the veneers start and end basically. But it's been so finely polished, you can't feel it. I can't feel it at all here. But since these are boxes that just mostly just sit in a shelf, they are practical enough that I'm relatively happy with it. I don't feel that I would have a need to get something better. Essentially, it serves its purpose, and at the moment you can see my best pieces are just only 5 watches, and I actually don't keep them in this box. This box sits somewhere else. The boxes that I do use the most, which is somewhat ironic, are the boxes that are handed out for free. These are these are the service boxes, I suppose, that you get from the AP boutiques. So I've been given 2 of these. I had 3, I gave 1 away. What's great about these are, of course, the cube shape, so they fit in my hand luggage when I'm traveling quite nicely. It's a Tumi leather travel bag. And you get this very nice soft pillow. And most of the times I would put my Patek in. I'll have the head of the watch facing that side, So the base, the clasp, the color travel buckle, the deployment end comes this way. And then this flap, if you're at your hotel, you can keep it on the table, and this acts as like a jewelry surface. So you can keep the watch head here rather than keeping the watch on the table. And but you just need to be careful because it's not held as, it's just friction fit here. So as soon as you do that, it just falls down. So you'll be careful. And that's another fantastic little cushiony bit there. So it's been well thought of, and they're also ideal for putting in the bank vault. And another box that I use is, well, hang on, let me stack these up here. We've got a few more coming off the desk in a bit. Are these? I also got two of these. I'm not going to show one. It's a leather AP pouch. It's got an interesting seal zipper on the outside, so when you open it, the zipper opens which has like a second inner coating basically. So that's to prevent scratching anything, which is a nice touch. And I think they really hand this out for people who have the offshore type watches, so the Grand Prix, a diver, whatever. So it's for that proportion, but my Royal Oak fits in perfectly in this. It has a very nice soft leather feel to it because it is 100% leather. It's not a pleather or a plastic type, but it's actual leather. And it's a nice piece that they've given me. And this is one that I just bought. And a shout out to my friend Howard for basically taking care of all the logistics for sending this across. And it was actually his recommendation because I was away for Christmas, and he dropped me an email saying, hey, this deal is on and it's going for, I think, 1/3 the price of its usual price tag. And he had ordered one, and I went for the exact same thing, with getting my initials monogrammed as well. So it has a nice bit of personalization there. I get most of my stuff monogrammed, and it's actually exceeded my expectations of what I was going to receive. Actually, the inner roll is it's a nice size, and it's really soft. And the watches, when they go in, they have a very snug fit, which is also something I didn't expect. So basically what happens is when you put the watch in, the watch head compresses against this part here. So when you're locking it down, you'll see I've kept my finger there. You can see how much tighter it gets, and that's basically what happens. So the flappy part here presses down on the watch head. It's not a lot of pressure, but it holds so basically it prevents the watches from sliding laterally, which was an important concern of mine, because I wouldn't want to say have my Patek here, have the GMT here, and have the GMT bump into the Patek's crown, which could potentially damage the winding stem, or it would leave a scratch or something. So I've checked it a few times, and the watches do not budge a bit. Of course, I haven't taken this and thrown it away, but again, it's a wonderful size. You can see it fits like a cylinder, so it's got a flat side. So again, inside the hand luggage, this would sit quite nicely in a vertical camera lens type sense. And so I'm using this as a general storage box within my writing bureau, and it's also potentially a handy thing to keep at the bank if you feel like that's an option. And then another box I have is also for watches. I will move this one away. This is also by Hillwood. So I bought, as you can see, I bought a few boxes at the time of when I was buying boxes at least. And this one accommodates 4 watches over here, and then you have a pull-out tray for cufflinks, and then you get accommodation for 6 cufflinks at the bottom. Of course, you can put multiple cufflinks per groove essentially, and again 6 on the top. So it's a handy box to have your watches and cufflinks, because when you're heading out for dinner or something, those are like the 2 essential things. You could have a tie pin, various things what you need in here, even rings and jewelry, so that's handy. So that about wraps up this video, and I've just shown you the collection as it stands as of 2016. But having added the GMT to my collection, I've now decided to sell the Patek Calatrava. It's going to leave the collection, and I hope to replace it with something else. I've not entirely made up my mind as to what will replace it. So this is the watch that I've listed for sale. I've created a small website which details everything there is to be detailed about this watch, what makes it different to probably any other Calatrava that you'll see on the market. The reason being that this was personally purchased at the salon in Genève. It's got a Calatrava deployant clasp added at personal cost. It was purchased in May 2013, and it's a discontinued watch that you would have very hard time finding in this safe queen like new in box condition, literally. Even the strap is still glistening, it has hardly been worn, still stiff, and so this watch will leave the collection, and I might even have it auctioned off at the Philips auction in Hong Kong in April this year. So if you're interested, you might have a chance to bid on this watch. So I will most likely create another video just before I ship this off to Philips. I'm still in the process of discussing stuff with them. And so until next time, thanks for watching. Do hit subscribe, like, and leave your comments below. Thank you.